It is a FLIR camera attached to a cell phone. So this is what firemen would use to actually help save people. So it's a quick attachment for them. And you nod because you might know these things, right? Are you?
I know about the FLIR, but
okay.
I've never seen this.
So the reason why I like this one is because it's obviously very easy for me to hand out. And the other ones cost probably 10 times as much as the one attached to this guy, if not more. But anyway, so you guys could all see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. Yep. So normally what we're looking for, the cold spots, are going to be blue and black. And what we're looking for them to either take shape or to start moving on their own. So when I say moving or taking shape, it's going to be in the form of a person. What did you?
He's gonna have nightmares.
Nice. Then I win. So,
That's right.
Because honestly, this is not a scary thing. That's the cool thing about this. I'm showing you, like literally, you're gonna be able to see and hear everything around you. So that's part of the reason why people come to see me. Is this is not a TV show, man. Like we're not going after serial killers and that kind of thing.
So I'm not gonna get like thrown across the room.
No, not at all. You might see somebody come up on the camera, but again, that's gonna be like a. Shit, they're not right there, but they're in here. So that's the cool thing about it. So, but when I say in the form of a person, shoulders, head, moving arms and legs, like that's what I'm looking for. I also set up a blue dot on this guy. The blue dot is bouncing around the screen, showing you where the coldest spot is in the frame at that moment. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops. I keep track of all of your temperatures. We're about an ambient temperature of 61 degrees tonight. So 15 degrees below that is what, 46? So 46 and below is what I'm going to be looking for out of that blue dot, because it does keep track of the temperature, and there's a sensor crosshair so that the user is going to be able to move the camera and pinpoint and measure whatever they want to, because it stays central on the camera. So that's the cool thing about this guy. So we're going to do with this space, we will spread out after I go through the history. So just so you guys know, if we heard or seen anything other than fucking 40 or anything along those lines that I need to know about and missed the word wagon,
way to be on the ball.
That's about it.
Okay. So I just want to make sure you're getting the gist of how to listen to it. So Matthew, have you heard anything yet? No. You go by Matt or Matthew?
Matt.
Perfect.
Well, either way is fine with Matt.
Yeah, got it. It actually, I think Mom put in Matthew when this was in there.
Well,
I actually knew all of your names ahead of time, but I like to put the names to the face when you guys tell me. So that's how I knew your guys' names ahead of time. So anyway, but you haven't heard anything yet?
Wait, so when I hear something like this, will it sound different than like what I'm hearing? Will it sound like exactly the same, just a certain way?
It will be just like the radio, because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. If you hear Harry Styles come through, I want to know the song lyric that Harry Styles sang.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Okay. So if anybody's going to help him out, that's the gist of it. So, welcome to a parking lot. You made it. Congratulations. I told you, I'm taking you to weird places. This place used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Let me first point out that I am not going to be giving you spirit box and communication device people questions like, what color is George Washington's white horse? Like what we did over there with the big red barn. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so that way you have a genuine experience. So when you guys hear something, I want to know the silliest thing you heard. If it was Drop It Like It's Hot, Hands on My Knees, any song lyric you think might be just super ridiculous, it might be relevant. Just keep that in mind. So, with that said, who the hell were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which one's coming through. So, with that said, the son and the nephew signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. I hate politics. If I don't bring it up, they usually do it through a spirit box very angrily for me, like, where's my recognition kind of piece. So, I brought it up, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. I say today's standards because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial times that she came from, because that's when girls got married back. Expect today's kind of standards. And I bring that up because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. Kind of a creepy age gap then, creepy age gap now. So she got to marry him because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He was going to try to bring all of his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. She stayed put, got married, built a house right here. Understand? 1744, by the way, and you don't get married in that year to get a green card. She's not from here. We're not even a country. Green cards were not a thing. She didn't marry him out of love, so
Say green now.
Oh, shit.
Maybe, yeah.
Interesting. It's almost like she's going to tell the story for me. Interesting.
It did say creek. Is there anything about a creek?
Yeah. A river.
It said
No
creek
creek.
for a while.
Okay. That's interesting. Because you need creek to make rice. Or a river. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. My mind will go off on tangents, guys. You got to rein me back in. But anyway, where were we? green card, right? So she was right. Dad didn't die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to the space where we're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. If you're not sure what it is, it's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. I think you're the only one wearing it tonight. So, because that's how we use it today. When she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep them, keep it going, because it's not always hot here, and then how to make the dye. When she figured it out, she moved it to a cash crop plantation near the Stono River, and she got a hold of her dad. Rice plantation's going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. We now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Okay, Eliza, I appreciate you. I'll be honest, this is one of the spaces I was actually looking to retire this year because we were getting some very angry messages from basically two disrespectful guests of mine. So this is a place where it's a prominent English woman. Be respectful while we're here. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. I promise, Eliza, my time here would be brief. This used to be like a 30-minute session. We don't do that anymore. Again, keep it short, keep it brief, tell her history, move on. Be very respectful while we're here. I'm going to go through a very quick series of questions with the communication devices. If you don't get answers to the specific questions that I give you, by all means, cherry pick somebody else or come up with your own. Go rogue. Just make sure they're not yes/no questions, and I cannot find any relevance to records of slaves. So do not ask anything about her servants and slaves. So with yours, I'm going to just go ahead and with the creep factor with you and go straight into it. You're going to ask about Eliza's death. So how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Okay, those are going to be your four major things. Amy, with yours. So obviously the Ouija board device, we're going to basically be looking for her initials. Her initials are ELP. The reason I'm giving you this is because on your other device is where we normally get which Eliza we're talking to. Charles married two different Elizas back to back. The one we just talked about is the second one. Both Elizas have a maiden name that started with the letter L. So you're going to be asking what the maiden name was, and that'll tell you which one we actually have going on. But you and I are going to talk more once I spread everybody out about the Ouija board device, so I can show you how to operate it a little bit further. Please.
L just popped.
The letter L?
Yeah.
Guys, I can't make this shit up, I promise you. The mansion's not here anymore. What happened to it? When did that happen? Those are going to be the types of questions you're going to be asking. I'm also going to give you, please tread lightly with this one. This is where we can poke the bear by accident. How many children she had and what their names were. Nothing more about the children. There's a tragedy there. Don't poke the bear. All activity will stop. Scott, have you had any readings whatsoever?
I had a second green one pop, and I think I saw 0.8 is all.
Okay, so again, base is going to be 2.5,
Yeah.
and then we're going to escalate it. So if you go up to 5 and then back down to like a 3, I don't want to know anything below that 5. We're going to keep it going up so I don't have a
Gotcha.
whole notebook full of numbers.
Okay.
So cameras, nice slow movements. You're already recording. You guys should have some footage of me at this point. But you're going to spread out. I'm going to keep Amy behind so I can show her how to use the Ouija board. And I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. I'm going to do 2 quick round robins so we can be very brief here and kind of get what we need. And I'll give you the answers, and then we'll move on to our next space, which will be an actual alley. So have some fun. Again, get used to those cameras. Again, if you two want to hang out together so she can help you out with the spirit box, and that's the fun part. Because again, going like this super slow can put her to sleep. So, so again, try to help out as much as you can. Just make sure your camera's always on the left. You're good. Spread out. Let's do this, guys. We're in the middle of it. Mansion.
What? Oh my god. What just popped? Which one was it? No, but like, was it orange or was it red?
It was
If in 4 questions, I give you
Just
4.
probably tell it.
But this one didn't go
Oh,
up
yeah.
so much.
So distracting.
I know.
At least that I saw.
Alright, maybe come on over. Let me show you how to use that thing.
So this popped orange just a second ago, but I did not see a high number on this one.
Okay.
So,
We'll
for
take
what that's
it.
worth.
Still a 10. We'll
Wait,
still take a 10.
and my questions,
Her
were
death.
they, how old were
How old she was.
Yeah, yeah.
She died from.
Yeah.
Where she married. President took her to her grave.
Okay.
4 questions.
Oh! got a red on here, but not here.
Yeah.
Anything else on there yet?
Jesus. Well, the other thing's not.
No, it's not.
No, nothing's coming up on this camera.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
How long do you think I should stop and start a video, since you said, like, sometimes if a video's too long, it'll, like...
I mean, you can stop and start. I wouldn't think that's a problem.
Dominic, just so you know, with your camera, I don't always follow up with it in real time because obviously the screen is small.
Yeah.
I send it to YouTube, so that way you guys can watch it on your TV, your computers,
Sure.
whatever you want to.
Sure.
I review it on a computer, so if I'm not
Okay.
following up with you a lot in real time, it's only because I'm going to be
Yeah,
part of
that's
the
fine.
review part of that.
Yeah.
But again, the slower the motion, the better.
Okay.
Caught
and
something?
So no, I haven't. So like, so it was at like 11 minutes, and I heard you say like if it's too long, like it will lose some of the footage. So I just stopped it and started it.
And that's okay. And again, I'm just gonna splice all those little videos together anyway.
Okay. So
And they're gonna be in order, so you guys know where you were. You know,
Yeah.
even if you can't identify the color scheme of the Pinckney Mansion site.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna hear obviously the story and that kind of like, oh, that's where we were here. That's where we were
Okay.
here. But yeah, I mean, start and stop it as much as you want to. The
Okay.
in between walking, like to one space to the other, no point. You just
Yeah.
got to shut it off and kind of give it a break.
yeah. Okay.
I love how he's super focused. This is hysterical.
Yeah. Matthew, there's a skinwalker right behind you.
Dude, I know.
There's no electricity where you are. It's not touching your cell phone. The wires are too far away.
I might have heard something, but like I just really make it out that well. People ask like how's it tonight, and it said I thought it said like I fell.
You know, it's funny. Because Lisa heard when she got the financial, very deep that. Or fell down or something along the line. Really both was the same. Yeah, fell over.
Because I swear, but it was like fainter than like the 30 years.
Yeah. And again, it's not always going to be, keep in mind, like I just told her, there's only people asking questions. We don't know what he wants to do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Businesses,
Right.
videos,
Yeah.
you can go to anything. That's why I say, we got all the cities you need.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, you want to Did you got anything else popping up?
No.
Good. Workout. It's definitely a workout. Now what do you
Well,
have?
it was nothing. Now it's just
Dead.
yep, and over there where it was popping last time, nothing.
Oh, they call it ghost hunting.
Yeah.
They never stand still. Come on, Eliza. We need a little bit more than this. Jess, how you doing over there?
Where did you die? Where did you die?
Sorry if I keep missing because it's the language that comes with this. So. I did write down 40 popped up on this. I don't know what the fuel means. So cameras, if you want to give them a break at this point, by all means do so. That way we don't lose any more footage. video recording, you two, it's kind of weird, you guys are all kind of paired up. You guys won't record until we get into the alley. So it's about a block from here, we're gonna be cutting through the market. EMF detection, parking meters make those things go off. Ignore your readings. So you're kind of out of the game for a few minutes. When we get in there, your baseline will be like a 5 on the tri-feeder. So this one will be 2.5. We're gonna be near some lampposts, and it does give off a little bit of EMF. So anything like above that 5 to 6 level is where I'll be interested. Spirit boxes and communication devices. I want you all listening in along the way. Tell me what you hear once we get into the alley, and then I'll tell you the history of the space. I will also tell you that that space is also a very popular ghost tour stop, so when you guys are filming, don't film the other tours walking by. So you guys are going to be the Andy's Coming group. With that being said, weird, these pedals were not here yesterday. And I'm like looking like, where the hell did they come from?
Oh, they blew in over from there. The tree right.
Maybe? Very interesting. I was just here 24
Yes,
hours
they
ago.
had. I saw a lot of rides walking.
These do look like
See,
rose
like
petals.
thermal imaging in the
Yeah,
tree.
we get a lot of like
Like there's someone in the
photography
tree.
stuff.
Yeah.
Probably from the front. All right, so but the duel that occurred down here, you're going to get different details from me. In the event that they're going to exit coming up this way, which they probably will, we'll just split the seas and let them go by, and I'll pause. So again, you're going to get different details from me. Here's how the story goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. You guys hear brown-eyed girl on your spirit boxes? It's not coincidental. It happens all the time. It's just part of his name. So he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. If you just flipped that, Dominic, you might want to stop the recording and then restart it to make sure we're not going to have a full upside down video.
No, I didn't.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay.
But anyway, his fiancee Amanda just inherited her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start his practice down here. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay in Charleston. So somebody was walking by. His name is Ralph Isaacs. I'll stop on Ralph for a second because the Ouija board device, this is exactly why we have it. Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. R.I. was showing up on spirit boxes like crazy, coming out of DJ's mouths. Like, I was like, this is weird and uncanny, but I need a secondary clue so I know who it belongs to, and we would normally get it. I got the Ouija board device so we can actually get just those letters R.I. So far in the past, I want to say we've had that 7 or 8 months now. We've had it at least twice that I know of. I can recall.
Saying 30 again.
30 again. I got nothing. Not even in this space. It gave you another 30?
Yep.
Or it's-
It did say soon, and then it said 30.
I mean, he didn't die on the 30th. He wasn't 30 when he died. Like, nothing. I don't know where that's coming from. It's so weird. There's not a malfunction going on with the app. But anyway, back to the doctor. This is like, get on with this story. So where was I? Oh, Ralph Isaacs. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. But I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room there, and you'll be safe and good to go. So the doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. But the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because Amanda's moving down soon, so they can get married. What I'm going to point out to you is that every haunted city you will ever visit has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. There's actual proof of this one. I'm going to get to that. But anyway, Ralph and the doctor go see plays together.
Oh, is this Gail?
What kind of Gale?
Like just the name
Gail.
Gail. Yeah.
Gale, like
The woman?
Like
Oh.
a woman's. Well,
The
the
woman's
wind
name?
would be a gale wind.
Like G-A-L-E? Gail.
Oh,
Gail
you're
is-
right. Gale,
Gail is a
wind
woman's
is
name,
A-L-E.
right?
No,
No.
G-A-Y-L-E
Right, is yeah.
would be a woman's name. That's a gale of wind.
No,
Google it.
Gale of Wind is G-A-L-E.
Come on, who's quickest with their
Hold on,
phone?
hold on. What do I have to Google?
G-A-I-L.
Is another spelling of a female.
Yeah, because
And
woman's
G-A-L-E
name.
is the wind gale.
Yeah.
Gail.
Even as an English guy, you guys are throwing me off.
A female.
Female or male given name from
Okay.
a Hebrew word joy, meaning joy.
Okay. There we go. There we have it. You were correct. Good job.
Does it matter when it goes so
That's
high?
just part of the aesthetic.
Okay.
It growls and does all kinds of stupid shit. We just turned it down.
Okay. Okay.
I know, right?
Of course.
So, anyway, they go see plays together, Ralph and the doctor. They sit next to each other. The doctor gets better seats because he makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy works. One night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare. They're on their way home talking about the new actress that was in town. The doctor thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns very ugly when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate
Tyler.
ways.
Sorry.
Maybe we track of thought again. So, Ralph has friends here in the city, like I already mentioned. So he goes to see his friends at the newspaper, and he's going to put an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society, sir. The doctor sees the ad, he rebuttals with, let's go to Dulles Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all, somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. Just when they had the courage and bravery to show up, which is often what happens. Some of you have seen Hamilton, you get it. However, Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. He drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street. He didn't die right away. Ralph just proved his point, he's just pissed off still. The doctor dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. Remember, this is 1786. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but the bullets would have much different than what we have now. He was probably trying to bleed out the lead poisoning himself, which is why he refused the medical treatment, because he is a doctor. So, every ghost tour down here will tell you to listen for the whistles. Right? We're using my voice recorder. You don't need to do it. You don't need to listen to it regularly. It's going to be here if it's going to show up. If you're going to do this on your own while you're here in town and walk all the way through the alley using your voice recorders, remember that every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. Now, my garage is right above that little convenience store, which means I have to pass the alley to get back to my car. I do it every single night. So it is just one of those pieces. They also say you can hear gunshots even when you have to look this way. Weren't expecting you in Jug. I will tell you, because I threw the whistle down there, is when I got kicked out of here. So here's how this part of the story goes. Let's huddle in a little bit, because I don't like the neighbors knowing all those stories. So this particular part is the reason why we're going to the next location. This alley didn't go all the way through. It was actually cut off probably a little bit further than where we're standing now, because this is where they kept all the livestock for the city. Which means the bricks on the other side, all the way at the end, are older than the bricks we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. And there's one full handprint from a slave child down there. And I used to go take you all the way down to the end and show off the handprint. But I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in his afterlife. So I'm trying to shoo my group along on November 26th of 2020. Yes, very specific date that actually means something. So the reason I'm doing that is because obviously they're not going to get anything. The other reason is because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful and move along. Not realizing I was out of bounds for where tours are allowed to go. I'm still new at this. The new neighbor, the new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly with Walmart. You guys can feel my pain if you want to. So I didn't work. The next day was the 28th. I was working with my partner. I called him up, told him what happened the night prior. He said, go down halfway, which is what you're allowed to do, or reroute your group. So obviously being Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, I told my group we're going to reroute, but I don't believe the story we're going to talk about. I don't know much about pirates because I'm a vampire guy. So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, shit. We get down there, I told a little bit I did know about pirates in Charleston down there, and somebody else heard the number 300, and I didn't know what that meant, so I wrote it down. I did the research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th, 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, damn it. Now I gotta learn about pirates. Now, everything we're gonna be discussing, my master's degree is in creative writing, so lucky you, I could piece together factual data based on multiple resources. So everything we're gonna discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. So again, it's a fun story, but it is a hit or miss location. Now, Pinckney Mansion, to me, was pretty much a wash. Like, we really didn't have much going on other than some readings. I might find something in the spot check of Matt's recording, but I don't know yet. But again, so far, we've had Deadly Squat. We had a couple little things. I'm not super excited yet. Hopefully, Anne Bonny's going to be coming through. We're going to let them pass through, and then we're going to pretty much follow them. So how about that? Just watch your video.
No, I haven't.
Any readings from you at all, Lisa?
Only warning when we came in.
Oh,
Oh.
That's interesting.
I've had club up for like ever since I haven't done anything.
Again, the longer something is there, it's just more.
Been up the whole, pretty much the
More
whole
just
time.
if something is up there for a long period of time, just means that there's really not much communication going through. The interesting thing, I'm just write that on location, I normally stop. There's a gate right over there if you guys can see that or not. Part of the reason why I stopped there is so I remember to tell you where it actually is because these other tour guys don't know where it is. That gate, remember that the alley didn't cut all the way through. It's about putting clues together at this point. In the event there was a loser to the duel, that was the gate and shortcuts to get over to the cemetery on either side. Otherwise, they'd have to walk all the way down to Queen Street and move back around the same distance. That's a long time they carried a dead body and stopping you from going to get a pint with the winner. So again, they needed a shortcut. Now the wrought iron gate wasn't there, probably early 1900s, but the archway was definitely there. So again, this is probably one of the most picturesque places, hence the roses. That's why it made sense to me when we started talking. But yeah, it is beautiful down here all the time, and it is always this quiet, even on a busy Saturday afternoon. That's why they say you can hear the whistles. So we've also gotten the word whistles on our spirit box recordings, so kind of keep that in mind. I've had whistles from songs show up. Again, just the whistling part. Think of Guns N' Roses' Patience. Think of moves like Jagger. There is whistling in those songs that we get a little snippet of it while we're here. But again, I'll be expecting bleed over from this location. Did you hear something? Is that where you're giggling over there?
No, I just like can't catch anything. Like I don't know how people catch like a little bit of whistling. Like it's a good.
It's
like,
normally
so
me
fast.
catching it the next day.
Yeah.
And again, I listen to that recording every single day. So again, that's the first thing I listen to with my first cup of coffee so I can get it done. That takes the longest amount of time. For those of you recording, continue to record if you want to. But we are going to stay out of the other ghost tours way at our next stop so we can talk about some crazy pirates, some crazy, and again, this is a weird story, but hopefully Anne's going to be there at the same time we are. So let's head up this way. Did I screw up anybody's name yet?
Nope.
I got you all down? I thought so. I go back here, and I do that because the other tours like to cut through. We just stay out of their way. But the kid next to me, literally, just, you got that thing upside down. There you go.
It's my bad. One second.
Here.
I'm doing both at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. And again, you could just hold that like a suitcase. You don't have to hold it up. I mean, relax your arm.
Yeah, I
You're gonna
guess.
be dropping my shit. But anyway, the kid next to me started to pass out. Like, I could see it. So I hurried up and grabbed him by his armpit, picked him up. His boyfriend picked him up on the other side of him. We took him over to that wall because there was like a little place he could sit down, and I know the space. We got him a bottle of water. He was feeling better, and I then told him the story of Anne Bonny. The weird thing about Anne Bonny is she had to dress like a male to become a pirate. And what they told me, this used to be my last stop, so let's spread everybody out because I have fun. The two gentlemen pulled me aside and say, Nick, we are two transgender males. Meaning I had two males dressed like two females dressed like males, just like the characters in the story, and it made sense. I have had people with heart palpitations back here, you know, those kind of things, like, hey, my chest is feeling a little heavy, I just wanted to let you know. I mean, she was immediate. Like, she, even before we walked into the space, she's like, I knew we were going to come here. So you guys are going to hear that. The young girl.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
It's almost like
that
she had
every-
like an intuition, like we were going to be crossing into here. So
Every house they live in is haunted.
they're bringing somebody with them.
She probably gave it to us.
As long as
No,
they take it
they
with,
stay
her,
with-
them when they
yeah.
leave.
They will.
Yeah.
I will tell you that there are things around my bag, and you've probably seen little satchels hanging. Like, most of my friends are psychics and mediums. And when I first started doing this, you guys were bringing ghosts, and I was taking them home. Again, that's not good for the guy with epilepsy. Again, it's just a bad mix. So my wife got a hold of them and said, you guys got to start sending Nick some shit to protect his equipment, keep him grounded, keep everything safe for him. So I keep those satchels on there, and I have to kind of refresh them with full moons, salt water from the ocean. Like, it's a whole ritual I have to do. Like,
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So they don't. So nothing follows you.
Which so would they like do stuff like would they be like at your house? Would they like?
So you have to
open
remember,
doors
like,
and stuff
you guys are going to be handing me back all of my gear that can communicate.
Yeah.
So they're going to follow where they can talk, and I can send messages back. So that's kind of how I look at them. You okay?
I am now.
What happened?
I said to you, like, I knew you were coming into here, and I just had like a tightness in my chest, and then just got like overwhelmed by emotion. The second I got in the corner, it was gone.
So I just told them a little story you guys are going to have to hear. I'm not going to repeat it. But this is part of the reason why I give you guys that heated warning at the beginning. This is actually common here to get a little heavy chested. I've had people pass out here. It is a heavy space for some people. So, are we ready to get into the crazy pirate story? Sure. We were just sitting around chatting. We weren't sure if you guys were coming back. I was like, yeah, let's just chat. So, we're going to be discussing the little tiny building over there. So, that building is the Gunpowder Magazine. It served 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. The reason why I talk about it is because those crosses on there are not crosses. And it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are earthquake bolts. You guys are from the north? You don't know what the hell earthquake bolts are. Earthquake bolts are turnbuckles. It goes all the way through the roof. So if we have another earthquake, like what I mentioned earlier in 1886, which we have not had one, by the way, of that magnitude, you can tighten the turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building back up so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, but that doesn't work. So, again, it's just, they're all over town. When you guys walk around, you're going to see little squares on buildings, lion heads, pineapples. It's just part of our Charleston charm. So we still install them. They just don't work. But at any rate, those crosses are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. That's why it's there. They're trying to protect the oldest government building. It's part of the reason why we're here is because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start her new life. First off, I'd like to point out, too, that the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. Anyway, right in the middle of its construction is where the story begins. So the building was finished in 1713. The story begins in 1708. Let's go back to Ireland. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? There's a couple of weird twists in here. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. So how mad was she that they got to leave Ireland by boat to come here? Just pointing that out. So gentlemen, treat your ladies right or else you get booted out of the country. Now, they land in Georgetown. That's just north of us, between us and Myrtle Beach. You guys are going to pass through that tomorrow. Now, Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation. So that's why we're here. This is what I call a familiar. If you guys have watched the TV shows, you've seen the teddy bear to attract a child ghost. This is something she would recognize. It's the same principle. So that's why it's a hit or miss. We have other buildings in the same realm, but not many. This is also allowed on our allowable, where we're allowed to go kind of piece, and we have caught evidence here. But anyway, Anne back home in Ireland was said to be a badass. They say she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when Anne was only 7, 8, 9 years old. Remember, this is pirate lore. None of the numbers are going to be exact. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. Pirates are coming through Charleston in 1715. Anne's pretty stoked because she's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom just like a man. That's the way the world worked. First guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going. Dad didn't approve. Filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. I'm going to call him Jack through the rest of the story because there's a lot of J names. But anyway, Jack is literally the person that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys all know who this guy is. He has his own ship and wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. You know why? Anybody? Think family friendly? It's bad luck. Some of you had some dirty thoughts. I saw them. But I get some weird answers to that question. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she's okay with this. Let's do it. But she's going to be a female in his quarters. So let's put 2 and 2 together. This makes Jack pretty angry. Obviously, everybody's going to know he let a girl on the crew. And while she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting because that's what Anne does. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew the Calico Jack captured. Now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be pirates. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her name shows up here quite often, by the way. But anyway, her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, because we're not really going to know, and the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Rumor is Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. It's not going to work out too well for them since they don't know how to use the cannons. Obviously, they can't take them out, but they're going to get arrested. And as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her beau, Captain Jack, and says, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't have to be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 men, quote-unquote men, that fought back on their own. Calico Jack and the drunk pirate, dead and gone, hung. So they're already gone. The 2 ladies go in front, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they screamed out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman during 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails her out, brings her home. She remarries, husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. I know, very abrupt. Mary Read dies a year later, 1721, from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaica jail. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was kind of some kind of fever, something very simple. Let's make it romantic. It's probably scurvy. So, I mean, we're talking pirates. Let's really make it, a big deal. 2 questions I left out of here for you spirit box and communication devices, because you guys know how to ask questions by now. This is a place where you can poke the bear. This is a swashbuckling pirate. Let's do this. Not a prominent English woman. Know your ghost. The names of Anne Bonny's parents I left out on purpose, so you can ask that. That's the mom, or the father, and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, so you can ask about that. Anything else you want to ask about? Completely up to you. Again, poke the bear. Don't mind it here. With your devices, I don't expect any kind of EMF. Like, if you do get any, it'll be up there, and that's because of the parking meters and the 2 electrical poles. If you get anything above a 2.5 from the back half, I'm excited, just so you know. With the motion sensor that's broken that we're not using tonight, we would be able to ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is, and she'll show us which light. Like, her hair color was red. Like, we've gotten a direct answer several times. But again, we have had your camera, Dominic, mess up a few times in this location, and what I mean by mess up, a white film will go over a person, any one of us, and their device will stop working. I've seen it several times in this space. Also, the largest orb I've ever caught with the infrared camera that we're not using tonight was caught in this location. It was an orb intelligent, larger than my head. It was coming right behind me. It stopped, it turned, and then went up above me. It was right over there near that wall. So, with your camera, Jess, we have caught an anomaly over on this wall. I'm still trying to figure out if it's from the tree. Somebody else filmed it last night. We had a very similar shape, but not the exact shape. So again, nice slow movements out of it. We're going to know within the first 5 to 7 minutes if we have something going on. Any words showing up on your word list?
Just says local.
Local. What was before that?
Village.
Local village. Okay. Any letters from the Ouija?
It's on W right now. I had to restart it.
Okay.
So
Anything from the previous set?
no. Well, no, just net. It said net. Yeah.
Which is still a fishing, like a
Yeah.
piratey style
Yeah.
term, so I'm still going to write it down.
Yep.
Anything coming out of the spirit boxes? I know it's hard to focus on the pirates and me.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. All right, let's get those things cranked up, and we're going to end by that wall. When I say, all right, let's rally up, we're going to go over there. I'm actually going to go over there so I can rearrange the bag from stealing that battery for you. So I'll let you guys get back to work. Oh, I'm sorry.
My questions again.
Names of the parents?
My bubble. My bubble.
It was long, though.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was a I hear it again, I'll be
Because yeah, there's a hole in it, so it's pop. And what was the name of your mother?
No, but I was going to tell you like that W.
And what was the name of your father?
Awesome. You see, that could be a fun drinking game, right?
Totally.
I'm gonna move a little slower than that.
Oh, alright.
This is a weird space, and there's a lot of different temperatures. You
Yeah.
have trees and the little hut and that kind of thing. It's not like the Pinckney where it's basically wide open.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I just heard run.
Probably did.
Yeah.
But we're not running, Ed. You gotta tell us something.
Yeah.
A little bit as I got up there, but it's kind of on the other path.
I saw it today. There's like phones. Like, what is there like a bag you're looking into that? Because I saw this thing on YouTube where like these guys are like blindfolded and they like
I
put
have
the thing on.
blindfolds in my bag.
They like put the thing on and then they like ask you questions and like only they can hear it. Obviously, it's like kind of like this, but except it's like real like headphones and stuff.
Blindfolding you.
I'll do that. Yeah. Okay.
Did you ask your questions?
Yeah.
Get anything?
No. I heard run, which probably isn't good, but.
Well, I'm not running anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not even. Heavy smoker. Not doing it. Oh, yeah, switched it up.
What is the name
So
of
the
your
space
dad?
that I found. Jess, how you doing over there?
Come out, man. Please. Yeah, not good. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh no, I was just like.
Yeah, I got bumped to some stuff. Watch where you report.
No. Oh no, I went fast.
launching.
All right, Jess, did you hear anything?
Stick your arm in.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. No matter how silly you think it might be, keep that in mind. I want to know what you're hearing now that you took over.
Okay.
So Lisa, did you catch anything that you weren't able to debunk right away?
For that,
For yours, for your camera.
no, I just got trees and
Okay. So the only thing that we actually have here is the word net, which is kind of a piratey term, but again, very loose, very vague. I see you had the letter J show up. What's weird is we've been getting things wrapped around John Calhoun. He died in March and was born in March, and he's buried on the other side of that wall. So in the month of March, we normally start to see things that trigger up a little bit. We actually had quite a bit last night, so I was really surprised. Again, it's the month of March. So let's go over the quick answers of this, pirate story. What do you got?
it says held back.
That's weird. One of the few pictures you can find of Anne Bonny with a shirt on, by the way. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. Again, told you she was badass. So that's usually the pictures they show of her is her like, hey, screw you, buddy. And I get a lot of teenage boys, and I don't need angry moms. So this is the picture you get. The names of her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan. There was not another subliminal trick with the Mary Read versus Mary Brennan. It just so happens they have the same name. What's ironic about that is normally that comes through as one message. It'll come through from one person saying, I just heard William and Mary. Were those the parents' names? Yes, they were. Obviously, her hair color is red. We didn't get the color red at all, but we did hear the word blood. Is that correct? So we have pirates. Of course, there's going to be blood. And as far as Calico Jack goes, I always show you what he looks like, so because everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of, which is it's absolutely hysterical when you start really diving into things, guys. That's what I love about what I do is research tells you the truth. So this is Calico Jack. He was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, so textiles were very important to Jack. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's how the name came about. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect the word Kingston to necessarily come through the spirit boxes that we're using tonight, but I would accept the word king as a direct answer. Because again, we have to mix our technology with what we would actually capture from the radio sonic DJs. So again, tonight has been super, super light. We still have one more stop. So I want you guys to all know, at this point, we're going to go a little bit more extreme. We are going to be doing the Estes method at the next location. And what's funny of how I told you I was going to get the boys' names confused. You guys want to know how I remembered it? This is Frady Matt in my head right now.
Frady Matt.
We're going to be Frady Matt. So
Just own it.
I thought we'd all use a good chuckle since it's been super light. Sorry, dude. Threw you under a big bus and I'm driving it. But the Estes method is very interesting, and it is something I'm doing on my. It's a new tour that I started. It's called Spirit Box Boot Camp, where it's nothing but spirit boxes, and I'll explain more once we get there. But we're going to be talking about a good old bloody author. So this is a very good creepy story for us to end with. What's going to happen is that Matt and Scott are not going to know the history. So the four of you will come with me while they sit on a bench, and they can. I want people to not know what's going on, so they can just chill out for a few minutes while I give you guys the history, and then we're going to blindfold Matt and throw some noise-canceling headphones over his ears while he puts both earbuds in and cranks up his spirit box. I'm also going to speed up his spirit box to the fastest level, meaning the radio chatter is going to be very minimal if you get any. I want you to listen to the white noise and tell me what voices you're hearing, while we ask questions, and you will literally just be talking about which answers you're hearing. You're not going to know if it's relevant or not. Okay. So it's what we call sensory deprivation, if you're not familiar with the TV shows, and it has a method called the Estes method because it was started in Estes, Colorado. So that's why it's called that. So you guys ready to learn about a bloody pirate, except for these two? They're just going to tag along at this point. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I think he just stopped it when he gave it to me, so.
Yeah, probably.
Because when we were standing there and it was just like a white, like, whatever that
So remind me after we're done there of what you heard so I can write it down. Because that is churchy stuff. That is what I call relevance to the space of where we are. We also have St. Michael's Church, which is right behind you. Where did you guys park, by the way?
We walked from Ansonboro in.
Oh, wow, you guys were. So you'll follow me back once we're done here for a little while, and then I'll give you quick directions on how to get back up there. All All right, so when I first came here, I had no idea what we were going to find. If you look around, there's a ton of monuments. So I wasn't really sure. I only had one couple on my tour that night, and I said we're going to experiment because it's the month of November, and after Halloween, I always look for new spaces to start up the new year. So this was where we came. What we got were on a spirit box. We heard the year 1828 specifically, the name Henry, and the name Tim. Behind me is Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. Now, like I was telling you, I knew I heard of him, but I didn't know where, so I had to kind of dive in because I didn't hear the story here on another tour. I heard it at the Charleston Library Society. This guy was a poet and a writer. Very quick, brief history on this guy. He was sick through most of his life. He was obviously alive during the times of the Civil War, so he went to go fight at the war for the Confederates. He's from here, so we're local. That's where I said it would be relative.
Yeah.
So he goes to fight, and his friends realize he's too sick to fight.
I just had weakness up here.
That's good. So we might actually have something, because normally when there's a lot of tours in here, this is a shy, introverted writer, so it's very hard to get something out of him when there's a lot of tours in here, so hopefully it stays like this. But anyway, his friends sent him home and said, go be the voice of the war. Go write about what's going on out here. Tell everybody. So he comes home, he starts writing poetry about what's going on the battlefield. He becomes known as the laureate of the Confederacy. For us writers, that's a high prestigious title. A few years later, he has a son. You guys are going to know his name, but they won't. The son's name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve.
Willie or Billy?
Willie, with a W.
Okay.
He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later, October 23rd, 1865.
He didn't die the same time you did.
You should have had that the whole time, so my bad on the mixture. But at any rate, so Henry, the father, is pretty sad after this. He has a wife named Katie. So he has a college friend that calls him up and says, I have a cottage out in Columbia. Why don't you come out here and you can continue working on the piece you're supposed to be writing and kind of leave Katie to mourn. Her parents came down, whatever. So he takes him up on the offer, and that's where he wrote his last words. The last words he wrote were beholder of brief mortality, meaning translating to person of short life. He coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. The blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. It's kind of creepy. Now, they show this page one day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society where this man's collection is being held. You have to be a member of the society in order to be able to go see it, I believe. However, the internet is beautiful. I'm going to show you this page, and they call it the Blood Book. So, the Blood Book... I normally would read like a quick stanza, but with the Estes method we're going to be trying tonight,
Oh God.
and you can
Oh,
see
That was-
yeah.
it's like a person in the
Yeah.
message right there. Yeah.
even the last words of beholder of brief mortality, and then he dies. Like that's kind of a creepy thing to do. But I'm not going to read the stanza tonight just because I want to explain the Estes method a little bit before I give this kid a blindfold and kind of see where it's going to go, just so he's not weirded out. So we're going to keep him seated the whole time. Again, we don't want him wandering around. We're all going to be kind of tight-knit to him because if other tourists start to come through here, I don't want them stealing my ideas. They already ask you guys all the time. Like when we spread out, they say, what's he got you doing now? You know, that kind of thing, because they know I'm always updating my gear. Nobody else does what I do. So let's go get him a blindfold and see what we can capture. This is the space where we caught the gentleman leaned up against that tree over there, moving around. Like you can see him moving his legs. He's got his arms up like he's reading a book. Like it was very interesting, and it was there for about 24 seconds.
Was it on this then, or was it?
It was on the SLS.
Oh yeah.
So we had a full stick figure. Part of the reason why I have that camera, somebody brought the big one you guys see on TV to my tour. And we had a full 8-minute interaction with a figure inside this gate. So I walked around as kind of a reference point, and it was an interaction. Henry, is it okay for me to read your poetry? Raise your right hand. We got the raise. Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so very cool stuff. That's why I started really diving into the camera. All right, let's go get this kid blindfolded.
Let's go get this kid blindfolded.
All right.
Hey, that over there?
They all know the answer.
Wait, is that? Yeah.
Hopefully you're going to be starting off.
There's like people moving around over there.
Oh
Like
yeah.
half the time.
Yeah.
Go up a couple of notches. We'll go there. So you're going to have a little bit of radio chatter coming through. Blindfolds, this is a disposable blindfold. So you're going to open this up, and when you open up the blindfold itself, you're going to have to tear it off, and it'll go over your ears. So you'll see once you open it up. I don't want it back. Okay.
Okay.
Eye wax is gross, everybody.
I got
I got it.
to get a picture right now.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was in dark.
I also want you to remember that you don't need to shout. You can hear it. Okay?
It's gonna happen anyway.
Sorry, so
It's okay. This is why I'm testing it out for the new tour. It's in the middle, so you kind of pull up that felt, and you'll see like a perforated edge where you can,
What if like while
that's
he's
for the
talking,
ear
you
hole.
see
Go to
someone
the
walk
center,
around behind him,
and it separates
like
right there.
in the most imaging thing?
This way?
Yeah, it's two
Oh,
pieces.
gotcha. Okay. And you peel it off?
Yeah, it'll like rip.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Ah,
So that way it doesn't, and then it rips in the center, so it just goes over his ears. It's not going to go around his
gotcha.
head.
Yep, gotcha.
So blindfold yourself up, and then you're going to put your hands out so I can hand you this guy.
So this goes around my ear.
You got it.
You have too much damn hair.
I'm testing out all of this, so this is still relatively new. It's only the second time we've done this on the tour. All right, cool. All right, so put your hand out. I'm going to hand you a set of the earbuds and headphones, and you're going to put them over your ears.
This says gaze right now.
G-A-Z-E?
Yeah.
So we just
Like
blocked his
gazing.
gaze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell am I doing? Why couldn't I listen to the story?
He didn't want to leave him by himself.
Oh,
He
okay.
said, oh.
He can fend for himself. He'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, they're brand new.
There you go.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
You're going to have too much hair again. Watch.
I gotta get a picture of this.
Perfect. Turn your volume up. Crank that thing up so you can't hear us at all. All right, so shouldn't be able to see, shouldn't be able to hear us whatsoever. What question do we want to ask first?
Oh, I forgot.
Cute.
Oh, wait. What was it?
I don't know.
You don't remember either? You guys remember?
Henry, why don't we start with the name of your wife? If you're here, tell us the name of your wife. We have Dominic here. He's got a set of white things over his ears, and he can't see, so he can only hear you. Maybe he missed the point of he was supposed to talk. Henry, we want to know what your wife's name was. I know you wrote a poem about her. Are you getting any words at all?
I have YOC and O.
OH.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tap him out. Maybe he's not getting. He's
Beast.
supposed to tell us what he hears.
You should
Yeah.
probably tell him.
All right.
Can you hear us?
Did you hear anything?
No, I mean I couldn't make out like one word.
You couldn't make out one
And
word?
this is one of the reasons why I wanted to continue to use the person that was listening to it all night, because they're a little bit more trained for it.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
let's get Matt in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you don't have to hold it.
Do you want a separate blindfold, or you
No.
good with taking his?
Okay.
Figure as much.
Oh, this just goes over your
You got it. I didn't want to mess up people's hair, so that's why I did the earlobes.
So you don't want to mess with their hair. So you're supposed to say what you hear.
I know.
Good.
And you don't
Hold
scream
this.
at us.
I'll try not to. Just like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like have him punch me if I'm talking.
That's okay.
Yeah. They'll come down.
Oh.
Yeah, brand new, so they're a little snug. All right, Henry. Now the problem is he knows the damn answers.
But he didn't even remember. Remember? Like, I don't even remember.
Okay. And tell us the holiday of when your son's birthday is. date of your son's birthday. You can use numbers to tell us. Henry, why don't you tell us what you did for a living? These boys just aren't getting it.
Oh,
It is hard to do.
yeah.
I will tell you that, especially if you're not trained. Like to actually speed up the process.
Okay.
I'll try it. Okay.
Let me try it. Is it just hard to?
I
Is it
can't
just
make
like
a-
white
I can't-
noise?
Yeah, it's like they're not.
It's a lot of white noise.
Okay.
It's like I hear mumbling, but I can't like hear any actual words.
Even what you think is what is coming through is what we want to know. Like that's usually like whatever your first instinct is. A lot of people are hesitant to tell you. Like, oh, I heard Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's okay. We need the color red. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Mhm, But it's so weird because it's like I barely heard anything even like over there too. Like I'm just
Yeah.
had like the earbuds in too. So it's like I don't.
I mean, we did struggle with spirit boxes tonight.
Yeah.
But I was actually looking to scare the hell out of you. Even further. Because sometimes when those voices come through, like they come through.
Yeah, I couldn't even like even anything that like I thought was a word.
You would probably have to turn that volume up for him.
I will.
I don't want him to hear a damn thing. He doesn't know the answer, so we might be
No,
doing
he
something.
doesn't.
All right, perfect. Henry, tell us what you did for a living.
What did he do for a living?
Danger.
This is not dangerous, Henry. It's just us. These folks are trying to learn about you. Tell us what you did for a living.
Casey.
We'll try again. Henry, tell us what you did for a living. I know you didn't make much money doing it, and you weren't very proud of your income. Tell us what you did for a living.
Danger.
What's dangerous? I want you guys to recall that the wife's name was Katie. He did say Casey.
Oh, so he could have just.
Rachel.
I don't know who Rachel is, Henry. Why don't you tell us who Rachel is? Let's huddle in a little bit. Let's let this group kind of enjoy the party. Who's Rachel?
Pushback. Katie.
Okay. Thank you for that, Henry. I really appreciate that. Now, can you tell us what you did for a living?
Rosemary.
This is good. I'm going to explain that. Tell us what you did for a living. You get it.
Here and there. not in a couple.
Henry, I know it's hard to talk about your son, but give us the date of your son's birthday.
Scythe.
When was your son's birthday? tell us your birthday, Henry? Give us the numbers of your birthday.
Alice.
Alice and Rachel.
Thank you.
Oh, maybe we're not asking about the sun anymore.
Maybe. Tell us your birthday, Henry. Tell us something about you.
Tree.
We saw you by the tree the other night.
Instagram.
I did not post it on Instagram, Henry.
Fire.
I got fired too at the same time.
Probably synchronicity at the same time. I mean, his is going super fast. There's no way that it's going to match up if you're on slow speed. All right, Henry, last question. I want you to tell us a number of your birthday. I know what your birthday is, but these folks do not.
Water. Three, 5.
Is it your birthday?
It's off of today, yeah.
It is. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Celebrating life by looking for death.
I know.
Got it. Henry, we're only going to do this for another minute or two. Tell us your birthday. Do you know a Rachel or Alice that may have passed on? It is just your birthday, Henry. What is it?
Rock. Lincoln.
Would have been the president during his time. It was in the Civil War. I like it.
Julie.
Okay, there's something wrong here.
What do you got? Are you hearing the same stuff?
No.
Is something going on with you?
Rock is my god. Julie is my niece.
What has 3-5 got to do with that?
What are they doing today?
I don't know.
Are they that old? Like,
Well, no. Normally, what will happen is if these are living folks, which I'm guessing they are, somebody that they know that's passed on is giving us clues to let us know that they're here. But they're not giving us their name. They're giving us clues to specific things that they would like.
Right.
So. You alright?
What type of budget do we have?
So after like 10 minutes of this, he's probably going to start to get disoriented. So
Okay.
I'm going to give him another minute.
Okay.
And now that the other door's coming through,
Yeah.
that's where things are going to probably start to die down with Henry.
Sure.
So, because he doesn't like the crowds. Henry, one last shot. Whatever your next term is that you want to tell us, we'll take it, and we're going to end our conversation.
Andy.
You know Andy? Same type of family member? I'm going to ask a yes or no question. Somebody here that wants to talk to Lisa and Jess, you can answer yes or no.
Child.
Answer yes or no. Are you here?
Breast cancer. Bacon.
Is this all relative? Is it all relative?
It's random as hell, but it's all ringing.
Who is here that's trying to talk to Lisa and Jess? These are very specific terms to them. I know I said one more term, but you just spouted off a whole bunch of stuff. What else do you have? Anything else showing up on your end?
It just said meat for like the longest time.
Like MEAT?
MEET.
Oh, 'cause we had
Meningitis, spinal meningitis.
meningitis. Is that relative to tuberculosis?
Oh.
Does anybody know?
I don't think so.
Okay. It's just random.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a health commercial to be heard. That's a long phrase.
Yeah.
More than 3 syllables. I'm like, holy shit, how did you get
Yeah.
on? Andrew, by the way, is my middle name.
Oh,
So,
Andy.
Andy. Let's tap him up.
Yep. Good job.
He can't hear you yet.
Oh.
All right. So,
You okay?
yeah,
You
it
good?
takes, we're going to give you a few
Yeah.
minutes. It's because you're going to get a little disoriented for a minute. It's not easy, is
You
it?
good?
We got a lot of
It's
information.
it's hard. I'm sure I missed several. I just couldn't make it out.
Well,
You
who has
got
the
a lot
recording
of
one?
stuff.
Do you have the recording one? No. Well, the cool thing is you all are going to have that on your recording. So flip it around, make sure the SD is still there. Yes, it is, so we're good. So it's going to be on your recording. So here's the relevance of the things that you didn't know that you gave us that were relevant. First off, you gave us a lot of names and terms relative to these two. Like they were
Yeah.
giggling the whole time.
No,
Yeah.
like actually.
knees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what were some of the terms? Just
Rock.
so you know.
Rock, Julie.
I got BB, which is what.
They call my mom.
Yeah.
Just like a whole.
And Rock and Julie are other family members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said
gave us-
breast cancer?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Brett.
I'm going to get to the rosemary thing that he heard.
Yeah.
So, you said rosemary. The house that we talked about where Dr. Ladd lived at 59 Church Street is 0.3 miles that way. So it is called the Thomas Rose House. We keep getting relative terms to the house. So just so you have that idea. You gave us Casey at first, and I kind of made a note like the wife's name is Katie.
Could very well have been.
Then you
But then you
told-
said
then you
Katie.
said Katie.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
thought I heard it more than
Yes.
once.
So that is probably the most, like, other than your guys' personal experience.
Whatever that is.
But the cool thing is you're going to have the regular audio of this, and obviously it's going to be on your films, so that way you guys can actually have kind of like a keepsake. When personal experiences like this happen, like, you can't make it up. So, yeah.
What was the meningitis? Did that mean anything?
So I'm going to look to see if meningitis, the gentleman we talked about actually had tuberculosis.
I know I heard clear as day meningitis, and I thought maybe I heard spinal, but that was a little more garbled. But I
You
I
gave
heard
us 3
meningitis.
syllables, like more
Yeah.
than 3, and I'm like, holy cow. So,
Instagram. I know.
I know.
heard Instagram.
oh, he also gave us the word tree.
Yeah. And
We
he-
found a figure next to that tree last night from the SLS camera moving around looking like he's reading a book. We're talking about a poet. So
Yeah.
again, it was very specific.
Yeah.
The reason why we tapped you out is because Henry is his name is Henry Timbrod. He's a very introverted writer. So when there's a crowd, he kind of shies off. Now you did say push back, but nobody was here yet. So it was. You said thank you. He
Yeah.
stopped talking about his very young deceased son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, very neat things have
Yeah.
happened here.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind
Yeah.
of excited. I will
Yeah.
probably throw a good solid 10 points at this. Notice I didn't write any of this down because I wanted to stay focused on like how did this work. So what I'm going to do at this point is the people who had the blindfold on, comfortable, uncomfortable.
I was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was comfortable. It was just hard to make
And
out.
Yeah, it took me a while to get going because you gotta almost have to filter through the noise, and it's almost like it's in the background. And some words are really clear, others are so quick that I felt like I thought I knew, but by the time I was gonna say it, I was
You're
10
getting
words
moved up.
ahead.
Like
yeah.
I bet if I kept it on for longer, I could have started. to
Was
make
it
out
as loud
words.
as it could go?
I don't know.
It was decent. It was pretty loud.
Yeah, I could have. Loud.
Could you hear us at all?
No.
The noise canceling
I
headphones.
couldn't hear. I could see. If somebody walked in front of me, I could see the
Shadow of
light change when I had my eyes open a little bit. But no, I couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
Was I
I know
screaming?
it's a little
No,
hard to
you
get them
weren't
started,
screaming.
like to
Yeah.
like break them apart because they're still relatively
Yeah.
new. But otherwise, once you got them on, they're okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah,
fine.
they
I
were all
mean,
good.
It's
even
kinda,
I,
looking at your heads, like its size and that kind
I-
of thing. So
No, yeah, it was good.
I wanted to. That's why I had my hands up, because the harder I pushed him, the more.
The less
I,
noise.
it felt like it was clearer when I did hear something.
Sure.
But if it could go louder, I would recommend turning it because it wasn't too loud, but it was almost like sometimes I wished it would have been a little bit louder. But I was gonna say turn it up, but I didn't want you guys to think that that's what I
Something
heard.
you heard, right?
Yeah.
So here's how this is going to work with the Spirit Box Boot Camp. Just kind of give you a gist. Like, it's going to be 3 people doing this at once. Like, it's going to be 3 blind mice, literally. So we're going to have blindfold 3 people. It's only going to be groups of 6 because I only have 6 communication devices. So the 3 people that use Spirit Boxes with earphones, they're going to be the ones that are going to be sitting here with 3 blindfolds. I'm going to tell the other 3 the history like I did with the other group tonight, and then we're going to come back and this will be the last session. But I want you to also keep in mind, with nothing but Spirit Boxes, no cameras, those Spirit Boxes will be sped up with each new location that I take them. So I'm training their ears a lot better to do this. I took you guys from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
They're going to be going 0 to 20 to 40 to 60.
I definitely think if I were to do it a few more times at some point, it would. You got to dig to find kind of almost what frequency you're listening on because there is a lot going on. I heard singing a couple times, but I couldn't make out what they were saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But training your ear, even in a 2-hour time frame, I actually do a teachable course online about how to use a Spirit Box effectively. Because a lot of people want to go straight to the fastest thing and wait for the white noise to make things happen. And what I talk about is the ratio of accuracy. So the slower your Spirit Box, the lower your ratio of accuracy. You're going to get a big grab bag of bullshit, like the word list, and only half of it's going to be relevant.
I actually would say, did you have it as fast as it could go?
No.
I would even, if I could do it over, I would say turn it up and even speed it up a little bit.
Last
more
night I went as
personally.
fast as I could, and the person could not grasp it.
Okay.
So we didn't have anything come out of that session at all. So that's why I was like, let me take it down 2 notches.
And I may be completely wrong, but I feel, just thinking back, I feel like if it was going a little bit faster and it was definitely louder, I might have gotten a few more things, whether they were relevant or not, I don't know.
First time I ever tried this, I was in a group of 40 people. 2 podcasts invited me to the St. Augustine Lighthouse. Obviously, I have all the gear, and it was a big promotional stuff for me. So, of course, I went, and they said, Nick, have you ever done Yes Suspended? And I'm like, I'm in. Just give me the headphones. I'm in. And you have to imagine, this is what I do for a living every day. So I went in, and it was on the fastest speed. I cranked it up and took their headphones. I taught these people more things about what I found out of that data because we recorded the whole thing with my cameras, that I was able to write down everything I heard and then research it. I didn't know a lot of the things that came out of it. I had names of people that were relevant to the St. Augustine Lighthouse that they weren't even talking about. Like, through my research, I was like, oh, Paul did this. He was a playwright. Here's the name of his play. Here's the year that he wrote that play. Like, it was all there. But the cool thing is I was there. Like, they had to tap me out because I just kept going.
You kind of get in a group. One thing I couldn't pick up, whether it came through or not, was numbers.
Okay.
Like, I couldn't.
We were
I
asking
kept,
for numbers.
See, and I figured you were based on some of the stuff you'd asked, and I kept listening for them, but I never got anything clear.
Okay.
But I figured that the numbers are going to be real quick because they're short, one, whatever.
Well,
so I may have just missed them.
Just so you guys know, the birthday that I was asking for is December 8th. So again, 12/8 would have worked. You did give us 3/5, which is obviously today's date and somebody else's birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird.
So I think at this point we have plenty to work with. I'm excited. Like, this was finally, something actually occurred, personal.
Yeah.
And then
that was
course,
that kind of.
Take it with you. Don't leave it
I'm
here.
sorry to set my bag down.
Yes.
You guys are awesome, by the way. Like, this was, when I have fun groups like this, I lose track of time. I would keep track.
Yeah, I feel like it went quick.
I'm gonna stop.
It was fun though. I like it.
Let me stop.
And we're staying right across the street.
Yeah, that's what she said. I'm going to stop your audio, and that's kind of going to give me a gist of how much time you're going to get out of all of your media. Again, it's 11:05. By the time I did this last night, it was 11:30. Like, my wife is texting me, "Are you okay?" Like, 'cause she can see me on Google Maps. Like,